It was more than that. It started off like I'd suffered with mental health problems my whole life, but I didn't know what it was because I never had no education on the matter. And it wasn't until after the Klitschko fight, a very massive high, then I had to have a even worse lowest low that anyone could ever have. I'd wake up and I think, why did I wake up this morning? This is coming from a man who had everything: money, fame, glory, titles, a wife, a family, kids, everything. But I felt as if I had nothing. I felt there was an empty, gaping hole that was just filled with gloom and doom, and it just was one bad thing happened to me after another. Within 7 days, the IBF stripped me of their title because I couldn't defend against Glazkov, who was a nobody, because I had a rematch clause with Vladimir. But the IBF wasn't expecting me to beat Vladimir, so they chucked that clause in there anyway, thinking Vladimir's going to win and he'll defend against Glazkov. But because I won, they stripped me of the belt, which was none of my reason. So I was stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. That was one belt gone. And then my team and Klitschko's team were carrying on about where the fight was going to be. It was going to be on a cruise ship in Dubai. It was going to be here. It was going to be there. Time was dragging on.
A cruise ship?
A cruise ship, yeah. There was some Arab billionaire who wanted to make this fight an exclusive fight for him and his buddies.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
Seriously, this fight was heading for a cruise ship. The rematch didn't happen initially because I went over on my ankle in training. I was in Holland training for the rematch, and I was running up on heavy terrain, and I went over on my ankle, sprained my ankle quite badly, so we had to postpone the fight. And but by the time I was off, like say 3 months, getting this ankle right and all that, I just didn't want to do it anymore, if you know what I mean. I didn't have the desire. The fire wasn't burning no longer to fight. And I was suffering with depression the whole time. Even in training camp, before I sprained my ankle, I was depressed as depressed could be on a daily basis. And I'm thinking, why am I feeling like this? I don't have no reason to feel like it. Some people will say, oh, well, it's attention seeking or whatever. But unless you've experienced what I'm saying, it's sort of impossible to understand where I've been or where I've come from. And it just went from bad to worse. I hit the drink heavily on a daily basis. I hit the drugs. I was out all night partying with women of the night and not coming home. And, you know, I didn't care about boxing. I didn't care about living. I just wanted to die. And I was going to have a good time doing it while I was doing it. I used to drink and take drugs to get away from the depression, because when I was drunk or high, then I wouldn't think about being depressed. I thought about I'm a boxing champion, or I feel great. But as we know, when the drink wears off, it only leaves you with a bad hangover and feeling even more depressed. For someone who suffers with mental health, the worst thing we can do to escape it is take drugs or alcohol.
But yeah, that's the most common approach.
And that's the common approach because people, we don't know, because it's not spoke about. And this is where I want to spread the word on mental health, so when other people are in this position in the future, they know where to go and they know what to do, because there's a blueprint. Not really, no, but I was focused on what I wanted to do, and that was beat Vladimir Klitschko. And I believe when you've got a goal in mind from being a child all your life, and you do that, then I was lost. I was almost like I didn't have anything more to do in my life. Although I could have carried on and defended the belts and whatever, I wasn't really interested in doing that. I'd beat the man I'd always wanted to do. Because when I was an amateur boxer, I used to watch Vladimir Klitschko on TV as a world heavyweight champion. And I always aimed, he was my target to beat. And when I finally beat him, it was like climbing my Everest. I didn't have anything more to prove. And the fire was dead. There was no fire. I was forcing myself to fight. And I always said, I didn't want to be one of those people who just fought for money. Because there's plenty of people with money in the world. Plenty of them. But who knows them? And the reasons for me fighting, it's not for money or for belts or glory. I fight because I don't know anything else. I've always been a fighter, from being born to being 30 years old now. It's all I love to do. I don't have any other passion. I've looked. The Lord knows I've looked. And if I had anything else I was good at or I could do, I'd be doing it. I tried retirement. I was 27. I retired under the second man in boxing heavyweight history to retire unbeaten as a world champion, like Rocky Marciano before me. But it wasn't enough. I was like, I am lost without this fight game. I tried golfing, I tried clay pigeon shooting, I tried 4x4ing, I tried going to strip clubs, bars, restaurants, everything. And it was just like, I had this emptiness inside where I just wanted to fight. And he'd done this video, after seeing this evidence of Tyson Fury, I finally know he's finished. He can never come back, and even if I would have fought him in his heyday, I'd have knocked him out. And before that, he was talking about Mike Tyson, how he'd knocked Mike Tyson out in a round. And I thought to myself, that's very disrespectful to talk about someone who's not even from your era and wanting to fight them and all that sort of stuff when there's no possible chance. So I thought to myself, you know what, if I ever do fight you, I'm going to give it you for that reason. And then when I saw this other video of him saying the things about me and that I couldn't come back and that, it gave me that much more motivation to return, just so I can beat Deontay Wilder. So I had all these court cases on as well. I was being charged with taking performance-enhancing drugs, nandrolone, something I'd never done. I had nandrolone in my system. It's produced naturally in the body, but they say my levels were elevated. The UKAD, UK anti-doping, said there was no case to answer. But all of a sudden I had a big WADA case on me. That took nearly 3 years to sort out. And everyone said, you're getting your hat nailed on here, son. You're getting a 12-year ban. And I said, you know what?
12-year ban
12
for
years.
nandrolone?
Not just for nandrolone. Well, I refused them as well. I was in a bad mood one day and the drug testing people come in the gym and I told them to fuck off.
This is when you were training for your comeback?
This was when I was out of training, when I was just... All the time I was fat and out of shape and not training, I was still being random drug tested by UKAD.
Really?
That's why I tested positive twice for cocaine. And everyone said, no, you're never getting back. The Boxing Board of Control suspended my licence in the UK for the cocaine use. So I had a court case looking at ban forever, basically. Suspension. The doctor made me medically unfit to fight. So that was after, I forgot about that bit. When I was rescheduling the Klitschko 2 fight, this psychiatrist phoned up and she says, look, he is medically unfit. He can't fight anybody. He don't want to live, never mind fight. So I was medically deemed unfit to box, suspended by the Boxing Board of Control for the cocaine use, and I had a nandrolone case on me and a refusal case. And by the way, it was racking up millions of dollars in lawyers' fees too. But I was so confident that everything was gonna be okay, because when I was down on my knees, I just knew that it was gonna be okay. And everyone was like, what's the point in training and doing anything with you when you can't do anything, you're not in a position to do it? I said, everything's gonna be all right, don't worry. Court case comes along in December. We go. They say, right, this court case is dragged on, insufficient evidence, get rid of it. We both agreed that we was going to call quits on the case. I go my way, they go theirs. They pay their legal fees, I pay my legal fees. Done. That was the drugs case out the window, finished. The suspension, I had a meeting with the Board of Control in the UK and they said, look, if you can get past medically fit by a doctor, mentally, then we'll reassess your case. Until then, denied. So I said, right, no problem. Phoned up the psychiatrist, the same people who I'd spoke to, all these doctors, 3 or 4 different Dr. Phils, Dr. Jones, whoever else. Said, right, I need reassessing. Reassess me, bang, passed, flying colours. I went back to the Board of Control, handed in my certificate by all these different doctors, examinations, physical and mental. They said, we have no other choice but to give you a licence reinstated. Bang. So it was 3 of the biggest obstacles in my life at once were all done within a month or 2, straight away. Then I just had the easy task of losing 160 pounds. Which, if I could have got over all them other things, losing weight as a fighter was something that I'd done natural anyway. So then me and Ben set about losing this 160 pounds. And on the way back, I spoke to Frank Warren and he became my promoter. And Frank said, right, you've had a long time out the ring, you've abused your body. Let's get you 4 or 5 comeback fights, just so you're ready. I said, okay, no problem. Had the one comeback fight, had the other comeback fight. I said to Frank, I don't need any more comeback fights, make the Wilder fight now. No, he said, let's have a couple more just in case. I said, I'm telling you, make the Wilder fight. So this is where people don't understand. I've picked Deontay Wilder. He didn't pick me. I picked him.